Hey everybody, Riot Mort here, and I want to do a quick little video on Ginsus. We've heard a lot of feedback from everybody about some concerns that we're balancing the fun out of the game and making Ginsus a little bit less fun of an item. And I wanted to show that we're really trying to make sure that's not the case. We know that Ginsus has been a long part of TFT for a long time, and we want to make sure the item is just as fun as ever, if not even more fun on more potential champions. And so I wanted to kind of walk you through sort of where we're looking at before and after and kind of show you what you can expect from the Ginsu's rework here. And you can see here, this is the new Ginsu's on Vayne, where you gain 7% stacking attack speed every second. So that's the new item here. And for comparison, what I've done is I went into our files and I've edited Flickerblade, which is the new artifact. You can see here, this is the old Rageblade. So for all intents and purposes, when comparing here, this is old Rageblade. This is attacks grant 5% stacking attack speed. This is the values you're used to live. So we're going to be able to directly compare old Ginsus to new Ginsus. Okay, and so for our first example, I'm going to walk you through a few examples here. But our first example is going to be a Vayne. Vayne who typically synergizes really well with Ginsus, and what that means in a given fight for Vayne. So you can see they start off very similar, doing the exact same amount of damage. But the new Ginsu's starts to stack up actually a little quicker because the old one relies on attacks. And so now we're 10 seconds in, and you can see that the new Ginsu's is actually doing just a little bit more damage. So actually a little stronger at this point in the fight. We're going to let it keep playing out here, and you can see it's stacking up. We're already at 100% attack speed here on the new one. And okay, so now we're 20 seconds into the fight. And new Ginsu's is actually doing more damage right now. So again, if you're somebody who's not having a ton of attack speed from other sources, this item should feel like a pretty good buff. And so we fast forward here. We're going to go all the way to the end of the fight here for 30 seconds into a fight. And sure enough, new Ginsu's is doing more damage on this Vayne. And so you can kind of see that we can expect that a single Ginsu's, the new Ginsu's, to be better than the old Ginsu's. Now, I won't lie to you. Let's try it with two Ginsu's here. And so this is the same situation, except now the Vaynes have two Ginsu's. This is where new Ginsu's will do worse, right? And so we can expect here the fight's going on, and we're about 10 seconds into the fight, and already the new Ginsu's is starting to take off and do a little bit more here. So if you were somebody that liked to run many, many Ginsu's, yes, this is going to be a bit of a nerf. And so in this situation, you can see here, it is less damage. Now, it's not a ton less, but it definitely is for someone like Vayne here. And you can see, we're already starting to really take off here. So these double Ginsu situations definitely get a little bit out of control. But let's compare it to some more realistic scenarios here. So in this example here, we've got Zeri. And you can see here we have a Zeri. We use Radiant IE for a lot of these sims because it gives 100% crit rate. You've got 2 rapid fire, and then we've got the Giant Slayer here. So let's compare how these two Zeris do. And so again, they start off very symmetrically. And this is a champion, again, champion like Zeri, who's constantly auto-attacking, building that up here. And we are 15 seconds into the fight, and you can see the damage is identical, right? So new Ginsu's should still feel a lot like old Ginsu's. You should be having fun with it in most conventional cases that you were used to before. We'll fast forward into this fight a little bit longer just to get a really good view here. And you can see now that we're starting to ramp up, this is where on a champion who's constantly auto-attacking like Zeri, it is going to be doing a little bit less damage. And so again, it's kind of a trade-off, right? You'll have more upfront damage, it'll ramp up, and you'll have a little bit less as time goes on. Now that being said, we get to the end of the fight here, and the total damage is a little bit less. But let's take a champion like Aphelios here. And so this is Aphelios, who you have to remember isn't constantly auto-attacking. Sometimes he's also casting his spell. And so if you're a champion that has a spell in your kit that stops you to auto-attack, new Ginsu's should actually feel quite a bit better here. And so you can see here they start off on the same foot, but generally, and right away, we're 10 seconds in, and new Ginsu's on Aphelios is actually outperforming because Old Ginsus, you have to stop, do your cast, wait for that to go, and you're not building up stacks during that. And so, like I said, there's going to be some champions that's going to perform a little bit worse, but a lot of champions it's going to perform quite a bit better here. So now we're 20 seconds into the fight. New Ginsu's is outperforming it. So on a champion like Aphelios, new Ginsu's should feel a lot better, which is really cool to see. And so yeah, we go all the way to full ramp up here and just starting to catch up, but still new Ginsu's is working. Now I want to show one last example here because again, we talk about how Ginsu's is going to open up being able to be played on a bunch of new champions. And my go-to example here is Senna. Let's take a look at Senna. How many of you have built a Ginsu's on Senna before and get told like, well, it's not actually that good because her attack speed's not that great? Well, in this situation, you have a Ginsu's, and now because it's not tied to how much you're auto-attacking, it's going to build up a lot more. And you can see already the new Ginsu's is at, 100% attack speed right at 15 seconds. And look at that, we're doing more damage with the new Ginsu's. So that's going to be feeling pretty good. And that's going to keep going because with the slow base attack speed, you can see old Ginsu's is only at like 20 stacks, where we're already at 150 attack speed. And now look at the damage difference here on someone like Senna. You're already up 3,000 damage here. So again, the goal here is not to take the fun out of Ginsu's. We want to make sure it's still playable on the same champions you'd like, but now it's playable on even more champions and more flexible of an item, right? So you could play it on your Sennas, your Zayas. There's probably even some casters that could work with it really, really well because it's just going to keep ramping up even if you're spell casting and not be so narrowly tied to champions who only do auto attacks. So hopefully this has kind of shown you what we're thinking with Ginsu's. Hopefully you're still excited and can look at this and go, yeah, it's still Ginsu's. It's still the item I love. It's still part of TFT. So there you go. All right, that's going to do it. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to this. That's it for me. Until next time, take it easy.